Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of Just What I'm Playing. It's not Just Fred. Well, whatever, I'm just gonna roll with it. It's still Just Fred. Just the channel name is now Their Lounge. Simple. Easy. I wonder how many episodes of this I'm still gonna do it like this. Anyway, welcome back. Last episode we finished off Omega in... my god. In one hell of a recording. Yeah, that was something. You should watch it. It was an experience. Anyway, since we have finished that, we now have the ability to get all of the Omega gear. You can get like the normal ones, but they are like not dyeable. There's sometimes some changes to them, like some of them give off light, some of them don't. For the sake of showing them off like only once, I'm going to go and just equip the quote-unquote better looking ones, the more expansive ones. Let's see, full gear fending. So yeah, this is Genji stuff, which is very like classic Final Fantasy. The Genji stuff used to be like endgame gear you would get in the game, but in most Final Fantasy games you don't really see the way that the gear looks. But yeah, it has like, you know, it's a design, you know, it's a design choice. Not really my style in all fairness, but I'm pretty dang sure you can rock this for some other jobs. I'm sorry, just like, you can probably rock this, but then you have to like have a pretty good idea what you're doing. Right, maiming stuff is once again very similar. Can I change this? No. So in this one you also have like a mask together with your helmet. And the spear itself looks fine. It's not amazing. It's a Naginata though, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Let's go and get the striking one. Right. I do like the weapons to a certain degree, actually. It's like one of those fish weapons that I can deal with. Just like bladed like this. That's pretty good. And a Genji katana. Which is an honest to god, pretty good looking katana. I like what they do with this one. Yeah, that's a very good looking one. How does it die, actually? Let's see. Gotta go in. Okay, so changing the color of the blade. Holy crap. Wow, that can make it look really nice. This is a good katana, y'all. It's a pretty good katana. Right. At least the Genji stuff is good for something. Right. Scanting. Of course, all of these things do share similar designs. You can get rid of the mask if you want to. And then we have these blades, which are very interesting. Huh. That is a design. Right, let's go and get aiming. Once again, I won't really be showing off the accessories because they're barely noticeable, and especially on Lyn, they're very much not noticeable because of her horns. The bow, which, it's fine, I guess, just not really amazing. The gun. Well, that is a big gun. Which means that I don't like it. That's usually how it goes. Right, casting gear. I find most of this episode is going to just be me checking out side stuff. Like, for instance, I'm going to be checking out all the gear, and then we're going to be doing another, like, kind of not important side quest. So if you're not interested in that, I'm just warning you beforehand. That is a weird-ass looking rapier. Right, let's go and get the healing stuff in here. That is just a stick. Codex looks quite similar to the Grimoire. Ooh. I like the crescent moon thing. Kind of. Right. Then Sigmascape, where stuff is immediately gonna become a lot more... just a lot better looking, in all honesty. The diamond stuff looks pretty damn good. Of course, also based off of classic Final Fantasy. the diamond gear was another piece of gear you would be able to get. It actually looks really good. Wow. How does this die? Ooh. Yeah, wow. Once again, a piece of armor that I can't really think of, like, yeah, didn't really think of before, and now I'm just like, wow, that actually looks really good. That's the diamond axe. I do really enjoy the way the diamond axe looks. This is definitely one of my favorite axes in the game. How does this die even? Ooh. Holy crap. And that's awesome. That's some good looking stuff right there. Right. Great sword. Not really my style, in all fairness. Let's see. The maiming. And then the halberd. The halberd looks pretty bad. The armor looks pretty fine, but the helmet is, well, it's a closed helmet. I personally don't really like closed helmets that much. Other than that, it's fine. It's not too spiky either, though. So that's pretty dang nice. Right, and then the striking gear. Which is very similar, just a different hat. It would seem. That is weird. Diamond knuckles. Wow. Them are some punches right there, Jesus. And a diamond katana. Once again, just a nice looking katana. Look at this. Nice ornate stuff. Nothing too crazy. Really natural curve to it. The scabbard itself looking pretty fine too, I would say. Nothing too over the top. So I guess just go and get like an over the top color in here. And once again, it colors the entire blade and the... Ooh. And that's good looking. Let me go and check something actually. This over here. Ah, that doesn't really get the color I want. Let me go and take a look. I'm thinking of something for Lin's Samurai, maybe. But it seems a little bit over the top too, so no. Right, very good looking though. Very good looking. The next set of Disciple of War. Right, scouting gear. That looks pretty good actually. The daggers too. How do these die? Not that strong, you know. Whoopsie, it's not what I wanted to do. I do like this though. This piece of gear is pretty dang good. But, you know, it's only for ninja, so... Then we have aiming. With the diamond bow. Which is fine. I just kind of wish this wasn't a thing in this either. How does this thing die? Pretty well. Not bad. And then we have a gun. It's a very weird looking gun. No thank you. And then we have the diamond gear of casting. Which is definitely one of my favorites too, honestly. Right. The diamond rod. Not that special. Diamond grimoire. Also not really that special. The diamond tuck. That is definitely one of the better rapiers. Very, very slender there. That's like a needle right there. That is how a rapier should be, really. At least for the most part. And then diamond gear of healing. Which is very similar, except the hat is entirely different. Then we have this rock with this thing floating around it. A diamond codex. And a diamond sextant. Which is definitely a very... Yeah, this is one of the better Astro gloves, in my humble opinion. And here comes the biggin. Good old Omega. The Omega gear is quite something. Which you will very quickly realize why I'm saying that. as you can see, it is quite something. It shows a decent amount of skin, of course. The weapons, or in any case, this weapon. The sword is fine. I just really don't like. Actually, I really like the shape of the blade and all that jazz. I just don't like the guard. Other than that, just like in general, this armor is very, I guess, high tech to a certain degree, which makes sense, you know, because it's Omega. But yeah, very like high tech, kind of alien-ish. Shows an acceptable amount of skin. The weapons I really don't like that much, though. So it's also one of the earlier ones where we can get a gunbreaker weapon, because there is an ultimate of this fight, and they had to introduce these weapons. Right, then the maiming set, which seems to be very much the same for a large part. Right. You know, I guess you could do like a... Oh, you could do a... what's her name? A Cosmos glamour with this. Methinks. Yeah, with the scythe. Which is, yeah, not really my style. Then the striking gear. And then... Okay, these fist weapons are pretty cool though. And this in general is pretty nice. This is good looking. I like this quite a lot. And then the samurai blade, which, well, looks like a standard samurai blade with a ridiculous freaking sheath, which makes me not like it immediately. Right. Then the scouting set, which is quite wild, as you can already see. Right, so these daggers are horrible looking. You see, the thing with this is I really like this. I do not like this and this. If they removed this thing over here and instead made it just closed at the back, or even that isn't necessary. If they just made it like that, this would be so much better. But there's no way that you can like circumvent this or remove it. So it's just always going to be there. Which, you know, is unfortunate. At least it is to me. Okay, the Omega bow. It's definitely one of the better looking bows, but still way too clunky. Omega Fire? No. Omega Chakrams? Also not really my style. Let's go and check out the casting gear. Right. The Omega Rod. It's definitely one of the better looking Omega weapons, but still not really my cup of tea. Ooh. Interesting book. Rapier is horrible looking. Let's see, healing. That is. Well, would you look at that over here? The healing stuff over here, look, it's the thing that, wow. The thing I was literally talking about. Remove those spiky things and change it into just a closed thrust, even though I don't like how this spike is still here though, kind of. Either way though, that's already looking pretty dang good. How does this even die? It's not too bad. Is there a way that I can change the visor? Nope. I do actually like it. I don't usually like helmets that much in these games. Or in this game. That looks pretty good. Ooh. That's a nice looking book. Right, Astro Globe. Eh. Nothing too special. And these things are just a nightmare. No thank you. And that's it for all of that. Which means it is now time to go back over to Kugane. Kugane. And let's go and do this ridiculous friggin' quest. Run, bitch. Run. Yeah. The quest that we're about to do used to be part of the Ivalice quest line, but they removed it and made it its own little side quest because it was really not relevant to anything. There's few so loath to take their rest, and adventurers without a quest, for short of work to give them worth, they soon become a source of mirth. Safe struck a chord with you, my friends. My colleagues tell me that if one in this land ever needs an item fetched, that you are the woman to speak to. I find this philanthropic compulsion fascinating, and so, in the interest of research into my next play, let's say I seek to put said compulsion to the test. Assuming you're game, of course. Bring me a bottle of wine. But not just any wine. Make it rose-themed, and make it Eorzean. I've had my fill of the bitter blends offered here in the East. Where to start? If only there were some port where thirsty Eorzeans went for their wine. You could surely be there, speaking with its foremost the blind Lalafellan, Winter, and not he with me. So as far as I'm aware, this character is supposed to be like kind of a self-insert of the... was it of the creator of Tactics? Maybe? I think it's like, it is something that, in any case, it's a self-insert, it's, as far as I'm aware, a self-insert of somebody. And you used to, you know, need to do this, stuff that I'm about to do. Sniff, sniff. Snore and spice sprinkled with a subtle subchon, I guess, of the steppe. You have traveled far, my friend. What is it you seek here in Wineport? A rose-themed wine. You would be hard-pressed to find a wine that did not display some hint of rose, so we can assume that your client was not referring to a desired bouquet. Perhaps a name or a label, or... A bottle, yes. I seem to recall a certain vintage rosé sold in crystal bottles with a single red rose on the label. Alas, I have nothing as rare. Nothing, yes, as rare amongst my personal stock. As for who might, well, there's always a burglant, I suppose. Oh, yes. The totally not offensive man. Bah, only an uncultured fool would select a wine based solely on its bottle. As it happens, however, said fool would be undeservingly rewarded with one of Vilbrand's best of wines were he to select a vintage Sud Vianja. Not that your client would have the palate to properly appreciate its depth and complexity. But let us dispense with the pretense. You are the fool in question, and do not bother to deny it. A fool who has aimed too high. One of your standing could live 1,000 lifetimes and still not amass the wealth required to purchase even an empty bottle. Oh, price is no object, is it? Ha! Even if I believed you, and I do not, I have a reputation to uphold as a vinter and viticulturist. Were my clients to learn I was peddling the choice of my collection to the likes of you, they would never do business with me again. Alright, just to see the back of you, I shall do you the kindness of directing your steps unto one who might take pity on your plight. Assuming he does not find amusement in it, Master Gegaruji of Costa del Sol, but do not tell him I sent you. Costa del Sol. You took the funk out of my soul. My rhythm is bluesing. Lynn, it is always a pleasure, and I do mean that. My ladies informed me you come inquire after a bottle of Sud Vianja, and I told them they must be mistaken. Not even you would be foolish enough to think you could... Oh, you are serious! Ha ha ha! Lynn, you do realize one could purchase an entire estate in the mist for the price of a single bottle. Or 5 estates for the price of 5 bottles, which happens to be the number of bottles of Sud Vianja I have in my collection. Now, I'm not an unreasonable man. Let none say the venerable Gegaruji does not value a friendship as deep as the one you and I forged. So in my boundless generosity, I offer you the opportunity for a trade. A bottle of vintage Sud Vianja for a mere magnum of fine Dalmascan. Never heard of the stuff, and I thought I was talking to a fellow connoisseur. Pity the poor Vinter back in Wineport who will have to educate you. And to them, my friends, the offer stands. Ha ha ha! Some money, little money. Ba-da-ba-da-do-do-do. First Sudvanja and now Damascan wine? Might I interest you in an aged Laminton red instead? No, I thought not. Well then. You have your work cut out for you. There was a time Dalmascan wine was fairly easy to procure, even here in Vilbrand, but that was before the Empire raised the better part of the kingdom, vineyards and all. If there are any surviving bottles, it would be those that were exported before the Imperial invasion, over 30 summers past, though I've not encountered any in a decade or more, either at auction or in private hands. Collectors are covetous creatures. If one were to somehow have somehow acquired a bottle, there is little chance you would willingly part with such a treasure, which leaves only those brought over by the few Dalmascan refugees who fled to Eorzea. Off we go to Dresd, our very scarred individual. Now the music in like these early game areas always like hits different. I can't sleep, they won't let me, the midgets won't let me, they're buzzing, they scream. Oh, is that Sooth? Okay. Sooth. False Sooth. I know you were here before, you sent away the midgets, they came back though. They always come back. They mock me, tell me I can never go home, I just want to go home. I cannot stand it here anymore. Oh, okay. Slash comfort. Wine. My wife loved wine. We would drink a glass of Valence every night before sunset. Always keep the cork. Always thought that odd. What good is a cork? Just in a midden heap along with the bottle, I'd say, but she... Discarded bottle. You find several empty wine bottles amongst the rubbish. One in particular calls out to you. Take it to Shimano Lamani to confirm its origins. Back to Shimano Lamani. Yeah. How is Dresd? Do hope your visit did not disquiet the poor soul. Yet by some stroke of fortune, the cork remains intact. So you have brought me an empty bottle. Ah, but what is this? The cork remains in place. That is most unfortunate. If an adequate seal was made, there may still be traces of wine within. May I? Flamboyant yet elegant. Thought-provoking blend of kakura beans and cinnamon, with just a hint of... Is that rosemary? Veritable kaleidoscope of both opulence and refinement. Long has it been since I last encountered a bouquet of such complexity, yet I recall it as if it were yesterday. Without question, this bottle once held a Damascan Le Monde, read by the name of Valence. To think I would have the opportunity to experience it again after so many summers. I suspect Master Kegaruji would not be satisfied with a sniff as I. Now, one without scruples might see the empty bottle as the basis for a ruse. One man's ruse is another man's keikaku. Over the years, I have had numerous dealings with the Lord of Costa del Sol, and while he is many things, an expert on wines is not one of them. Not that it would matter if he were. Men of his standing invariably find more joy in boasting of their acquisition than in consuming them. In all likelihood, Master Kegaruji will never even open the bottle, rendering the provenance of its contents practically irrelevant. Ah, but where are my manners? These forays back to the western climes always bring out the barbarian in me. It is a pleasure. Then, lest you wonder at my presence here, my employers see promise in the Hingan wine trade and desire the establishment of a viable route twixt east and west. I'm come to see their plan to fruition. But returning to your dilemma, I believe that I may be of assistance. It just so happens that I just so happen to have on my person several sample bottles of Hingan wine made with grapes similar to those once found in Dalmasca. For a close acquaintance, I would be more than willing to part with one that she might fill her empty vessel. But that would be unjust. As a maker of wine, I cannot allow it. Master Kikuruji has cozened more of his clients than he can count. How do you think the man amassed his fortune? By playing fair? Would that the world were less, but I'm here to tell you that it is not. So, it is decided then. We shall employ deceit as a morally justified means to a happy end. Oh wait, this is a fool's errand. And let us be glad our Quor was a fool himself. Or query. Now, if you'll excuse me, I must go and tell the gentle citizens of Wineport why they should be drinking Hingen. Good day. That's so much text. Also a lot of, like, very special animations for just random ass quests. By the gods, you actually found one? A bottle of Dalmascan wine? Whoa! We must uncork it right away. Or at least it appears that way. Yes, a lush bouquet of herbaceous dignification coupled with earthen undertones and so forth. In short, the very epitome of a Dalmascan red. Yes, yeah, outdone yourself this time, Lynn. And a promise is a promise. Ladies, the bottle of Sudvangia, if you please. Take whichever you fancy, except for the one with the rose. That is my favorite. Whichever one you fancy. Okay, and back to the dramaturgy. Yes. You know the best part is? There's 2 quests like this. I think, if I recall correctly. It's been a while. Has been a hot minute since I did this, so... Run, Lynn, run! You seek passage to the Prima Vista? Yes! Yes! Say a rose is a rose is a rose, so tell me, adventure, is that a rose in your pocket, or are you simply here for small talk? Vintage wine so rare and so expensive that you can't help but stop and wonder why you just don't drink it yourself and give the wandering dramaturge a bottle of Lonosian Red. A bottle of vintage Sudvianja. It never ceases to amaze. What is most amazing is your impeccable sense of timing. Today marks the 12th anniversary of the day I met my dear wife. And if there was one thing she loved more than wine, it was roses. I would that she were here today to... but I just, my wife is very much alive, in fact. She's been here with us all along. Darling, would you care to join us? For me? How thoughtful. But did you? Forget the most important gift of all? Of course not. Bacon Reds, the perfect companion to a perfect wine, for my perfect companion. Oh, darling, I think this might be our best anniversary yet. I played out better than I imagined. Suppose I have to thank... I have you to thank, Adventure. Though it was the bacon bread that sealed the deal. This ffXIV was truly an amazing wine, I admit. Before leaving Garlemald, I was worried the Outlands vintages would not agree with my palate, but no, how I was wrong. Not only was the rosé one of the best I've had had during my time here, it is one of the best I've had, well, ever. Simply had to have more, so... I went and purchased an entire crate of the stuff. And I gave him quite a deal, I might add, which was not easy, seeing as there is a great demand for bottles of ffXIV throughout the 3 great continents. I should reserve my judgment on the verity of Hancock's deal, but even were the price doubled, it would have been more than worth it. Fortunately, I recently sold an entire collection of my works to a little playhouse in Kaganadori, the Mujakoza, I believe they call themselves, these English words leave my tongue in knots, and scored myself a tidy profit. The price of a single bottle, more than a house in mist, you say? Ha! More than a birdhouse, I suppose. Oh, you were serious. Well then, I can inform you that it is most definitely not the case. Even during shortages, I've never had to ask more than, say, 20 or 30,000 gil a bottle. 40 if the buyer was wearing silks. You say Master Garuji provided you with this misinformation, did he? Why, the conniving devil. Well played, you lecherous Lalafell, you. I mean, that is terrible. What a terrible thing for him to do. Wait, was that Dalmascan wine we procured for Master Garuji some moons ago in exchange for 1 bottle of his ffXIV? Do I want to know about this, Hancock? Probably not, but I shall enlighten you anyway. Sounds like you and Hancock made quite the cunning devils then. Still, I do feel somewhat responsible for this whole mess. As an apology, might I offer you a bottle of vintage ffXIV? No, of course not. Then what would you say to a bottle of Dalmascan? You could exchange it with the bottle you gave this Master Garuju, and absolve yourself of all wrongdoings and whatnot. Ah, now you are probably wondering why one might find a bottle of genuine Dalmascan red, considering the hells you had to negotiate simply to find an empty bottle. Well, that, my disloyal friend, is where Hancock comes in. I do? Oh yes, I do. And I just so happen to have a bottle of Damascan wine on my person this very moment. 3, in fact. And why do I carry bottles of the rarest wine and author on my person, you ask? I am not at liberty to say. If you must know, I acquired them from one of my acquaintances in Nabernaster. Ah, alright, I purchased them from Lady Fran. Is this what I think it is? We left our basket red to keep a bonga happy for a long, long time. Amongst the royal sommeliers there was a Vieira like Lady Fran. When word came the Garleans were approaching, she ordered the entirety of the royal palaces cellars be delivered here, where they were safe for the Empire. Seeing as this situation with the palace is what it is, I don't believe anyone would mind lunch tears using the wine to, say, fill the resistance coffers. So what is the offer? If this many bottles were to make it to the market, the price would fall like a furball from an oak. I would be ruined. And here I thought they said you were a shrewd one. Now, if it were I to acquire this much, if it were I to acquire this much wine, I reckon I would only release a few bottles at a time to ensure, what would you call it, maximum profits? Renock, there's no need to be rude to our guest. You told me before that the East Aldenor Trading Company could not provide the Dalmascan resistance with aid, as it would not be good for business, so I offer you something that will. Do you accept? Not that it transpired anything like that, mind you. So, would you care to purchase a bottle? I jest. Now take a bottle and consider it my Apollo, and consider it the last you'll get from me. Take 2 bottles? All 3? Flynn, poor Hancock looks as if he has lost his mistress to a marble. 3 bottles is more than... That is a way to say it. It's more than fair to see your wounded honor restored. Can I please? No. Think of it this way then. If you hadn't saved the world from Ultima's Bane, the High Seraph would most likely have destroyed all that wine in the monastery simply out of spite, meaning you're entitled to at least those 3. And if you so desire, you can take one of those bottles back to Costa del Sol and set things right. Though, something tells me Master Gregorucci won't take kindly to you waltzing into his manor demanding he exchange bottles for no apparent reason. Perhaps you might enlist the aid of that Vinter from Wineport. What was his name again? Shamani. Shamani Lamani. Wait, did you just say you have in your possession a bottle of genuine Dalmascan red, but at 12? Wherever did you find it? Amazing. Simply amazing. And is it safe to assume you are here to right a past wrong, one involving a fancy bottle full of falsehood and fabrications? Well, I'm more than willing to help you sort out this sort of mess. If I had said something back when I learned that you would be trading a bottle of Valence for mere Sudvayanja, none of us would be in this position in the first place. I should accompany you to Master Gregorucci's seaside manor and explain to the man that the bottle you gave him had not been stored properly, and that we have come to exchange it with one that has. He is certain to believe the claim coming from me, his most trusted supplier. Spoiled? Shamani, I'm shocked to hear that such a careless mistake was made on your watch. My deepest apologies, Master Gregorucci. I was not made aware of the error until recently, and have since been seeking to procure a replacement, the one I come bearing today. Would you care to partake in its aroma? I find you will recognize hints of kukuru, cinnamon, and, if you hold the goblet at just the right angle, freshly cut rosemary. A veritable kaleidoscope of both opulence and refinement, if I do say so myself. Without question, this bottle most certainly contains none other than Dalmascan Valence. I should be the judge of that. Yes. Florid banquet of wooden distinctions, anchored beneath a rhapsodic veil of undertones and what you said. Yes, this is without a doubt a vintage Leomond. I accept your apology, and will allow the exchange. You two, fetch me the bottle, now. Christ. Okay, alright. Okay. Oh my fucking god. Again, my apologies, Master Gregorucci. I shall endeavor to prevent any similar oversights in the future. You have my word. Yes, but may I ask what exactly are your plans for that bottle? This? Might dispose of it, of course. It is far too foul to even flavor a stew. Then you wouldn't mind if I kept it. Would you? Kept it, but why? Well, you think there's going to be made a little wax about the top, and I can convince my fool colleagues back in Uldar that this is an authentic sealed bottle of Dalmascan Red, and once the bidding ends, I'll have enough for another wing to my manor here. Master Gregorucci, knowingly presenting someone with a bottle of wine understood to be of an inferior quality, that would be, I could never allow such a thing. Never! What's one in the bottle? I'll give you a cut of the profits, a small cut. I said never! And I said, yeah! Now look at what you've done. Ladies, hurry and collect those pieces. I have some animal glue in that bungalow. Oh my god! What is happening? These ladies are terrifying. Holy fuck. And a good day to you too. All's well ends well, I suppose. The important thing is that we exchange the bottles. Now, as how this is all going to affect my future dealings with Master Kuruju, you let me worry about that. Was this a second bottle of Leomond? For me? No, I cannot accept it as a gift. There are literally thousands more where this came from. Well, if that is the case, I suppose I can. Taken from a cache stored in the Orban Monastery and discovered by the Damascus Resistance Group. And here. Thank you again for the wonderful gift. As a distributor of fine wines, rarely am I allowed the luxury of partaking in mine own supply. I shall truly enjoy this exception. Perhaps I will even allow old Berger to glass, half a glass. Here's to hoping it will inspire his winery to even greater heights. Is that another bottle I see there sticking its cork from your back? Gods, those things truly are bottomless, aren't they? Well, as happy as I would be to take it off your hands, I believe there is another far more deserving than I. You'll find poor Dressweather he always is. Back to the rest, back to the panic boy. The silence. The calm after the storm. Well, have you come back? There's nothing for you here. There's nothing for any of us. A bottle, where did you? The scent. Oh. I'm sorry, I don't deserve this. It was my wife. My wife who always saved the corks. You think she'd forgive me? If I told her I wasn't coming back? With my brothers in arms? Would they allow me this respite? Maybe this time I asked him. I'll be here soon. Just like they are every night. But tonight, I'll have brought them something. Thank you, friend. Thank you. This guy really needs some help. Pew. Brigade Guard. You're back, and my thought quicker last time. Everything off with an area hitch. Everything off with an area hitch then, I presume. That is truly, truly wonderful to hear, and I'm not simply saying that because there's been this nagging in my gut that's followed me since I asked you to fetch me some wine for that fateful day. Please accept as a token of my gratitude. I've been told you adventuring types collect them as well. There we go. Does this actually give me a title? It does. Lady of the Fetch. I see. Okay. Well, my friends, that is going to actually conclude this episode. Because, well, I don't want to, like, start something new this late into the video. So I hope you enjoyed this episode of, whatever the hell my channel is called. Yeah. I'll see you guys next episode for the beginning of Stormblood to Hildebrand. Goodbye.